You are here with By the Cover. Today I'll be reviewing Aliens, Music of the Spheres by Yvonne Navarro. This book was 332 pages and took me one day to read. I would rate this book a 2 out of 10. This review will contain major spoilers, so if you do not want to hear those, click off now. Also, I'll stress everything stated in this video is my opinion on the book. I encourage you to check out the book for yourself and form your own opinion. The synopsis: the book follows Damon Eddington, an obsessed composer who seeks to create his masterpiece, the Symphony of Hate. Delusioned by soulless electronic music, he arranges for the SynSound Corporation to capture a live alien to record its rage-filled screams for his music. This story builds on the storyline of previous books, such as Steve Perry's original Aliens trilogy, which has Earth taken over by the aliens, and the standalone book Aliens Genocide, which had a plot focused around obtaining royal jelly from an alien hive that was then used as a drug back on Earth. I'm currently reading all of the Aliens books in publication order. Music of the Spheres is the 7th book in the Aliens series. Up to this point in publication order, Aliens Harvest has been the only weak entry. Music of the Spheres takes a look at that reputation and says, "Hold my beer." Music of the Spheres makes Aliens Harvest look like a great work of literary fiction in comparison. In my opinion, Music of the Spheres is by far, bar none, unequivocally, the worst Aliens book I've ever read. Up to this point. It isn't all bad. Most of it's bad. But there were a few things that I enjoyed, so my likes with the book. The story was, at the very least, sort of original. It replaces the mad scientist trope with a mad musician instead. It explores themes of domesticating the aliens, which has been done in previous entries. However, some of the other directions the story goes feel very original and fresh. Music of the Spheres is ultimately a character study on obsession and excess. The focus on music was interesting to me personally because I'm a musician myself. The problem here is that this is an aliens book. Both of these things are drastically out of place for the type of book that this is supposed to be. The last thing that I enjoyed about this book was finishing it, so I didn't have to read any more of it. As far as my dislikes of the book, the writing structure itself, it had very, very long paragraphs. Structurally, this always annoys me. I also felt that these paragraphs could have been shortened without losing anything in the story. They were just excessive. The plot, while very imaginative, makes little to no sense. From here on out in this review, I'm going to be giving away pretty much the majority of the plot. So if you do not want to hear this, click off now. If you're never going to read this book and you want to hear this, buckle up because it's about to get wild. We start out the book understanding that there are two rival companies. SynSound is the first. They are a very musically focused company, much like a studio would be today or a record label. The big story with this company is they have a rival company. And you would think, oh, the rival of a music company is obviously a company that deals with music. Hence, they're competing in the same market, hence they are rivals. But since this book is completely devoid of logic, you'd be incorrect. The rival company is called MedTech and is a medical research company. Why are they rivals? Couldn't tell you. Damon, the primary character, is a hateful individual. He hates a lot. It's his life goal to hate. He comes up with the brilliant idea to put alien screams in his music. But he has no alien, so he approaches the higher-ups at SynSound, the music company, to see what he can do about this. One would think if the Earth was overrun by aliens, that they could just go capture one in the wild, roaming around the Earth. However, that's not the direction the book takes. Instead of going that route, we learn that MedTech, the rival company, has a secret, although not so secret because their rivals know about it, research facility buried 5 stories underground. The idea is to go steal an egg from this research facility. But how is the CEO of a music company going to get anyone to go on this crazy mission? Well, you see, the CEO of Synsound, the music company, just happens to have ties to the Yakuza. Yes, you heard that right, the Japanese mafia. He clearly uses the one thing he has at his disposal: a group of ninjas. He instructs his ninjas to go rob the egg from MedTech's research facility. So the ninjas, armed with their pulse rifles— oh wait, no pulse rifles. The ninjas, armed with their samurai swords, attack the facility and travel 5 stories underground, where they learn that MedTech apparently knows enough about aliens to train the aliens and use them as guard dogs. The ninjas make light work of the dogs— I mean aliens— by cutting their limbs off. It's clear the author doesn't understand how acid blood works. The ninjas finally reach the egg and take it. Then they manage to get out of the nest in 5 seconds. Yes, you heard it right here, people. It took the ninjas exactly 5 seconds to get from 5 floors in the basement to outside the facility. A second for every floor. Ninja, please. The egg is brought back to the studio at Synsound and put into a special room they designed for it. Is the alien guarded night and day by Marines? Nope. It's left to the 2 watchful eyes of musical assistants helping Damon with his project. Don't worry. They are fully qualified for this task, having never done it before. They now need a host before the egg hatches, so they go steal a former friend of Damon's who is part of the Church of the Queen Mother. Basically, Ken, as he is known, wants to be impregnated because of his religious beliefs. So, Ken is impregnated and the alien hatches. The majority of the rest of the book is a lot of character introspection from Damon, the musician who hates, and Darcy, the musical assistant who assists the musician that hates. In Damon's head, we get to see a lot of obsessive behavior and a rather quick descent into madness, even though I'm pretty sure he wasn't all there to begin with. In Darcy's head, we get to hear about what the hiring process was like for Synsound, and her idiotic theories about how aliens built and piloted the derelict spacecraft from the original Alien film, and how aliens see the world through sonar by hissing like leaky tires. Yes, in this book, aliens hiss like leaky tires all the time, constantly. They hiss while they are sleeping. They hiss while they're awake. They hiss for hiss's sake. The alien grows from baby to full size in about half a page because we need to move this brilliant plot along. For this musical project, they need to make this alien scream. So instead of prodding it with electricity or torturing it or any amount of things I could think of to aggravate it, they decide to instead go the animal cruelty route and start by feeding it cats, then dogs. This does little to quote-unquote challenge the alien, and it keeps rather silent. So they decide to step it up by giving it a cow, and then a bull, and then a panther. Oh, how the screams and thus the music starts flowing. Damon starts doing royal jelly that he got off Ken, because as we all know, in order to make great music, you need to be stoned out of your mind. Predictably, we move on to human subjects for the alien to kill. Ninjas are great at kidnapping people, so 5 subjects are acquired from the streets. The idea is they will be thrown into the cage with electro rifles, so they pose somewhat of a threat to the alien, and the alien will scream super loud. All 5 are thrown in, and all 5 die as expected. Oh, but beautiful music is made. Darcy and Michael, the music techs, suddenly go woke and decide that human sacrifice in the name of good music is a bad thing, but with little to no resistance, they go along with the plan anyways. In the meantime, Darcy and Michael like sitting around and having little arguments, such as theories on how the aliens came to be, developing bonds with them, and the most important question of all, what constitutes good or bad music? MedTech didn't really take kindly to their egg being stolen, so naturally they use a bloodhound alien they have trained named Old Blue to sniff out the egg so they can take it back. This obviously leads them back to Sin Sound Studios, where they confront what remains of the ninja gang. This sounds like a great location in the book for an exciting battle. Well, the MedTech group kills the ninjas in about 2 seconds, in the most anticlimactic battle I've ever read. Meanwhile, while this is happening, Damon has descended into addiction and madness and decides to knock out Darcy, the music tech, and throw her in the cage, since he believes she has bonded with the alien, and because the alien loves her, the alien having to kill her will hurt its feelings, and the alien will rage scream into the night, which Damon can then record and use for the finale of his musical masterpiece. Well, surprise, surprise, Darcy survives and escapes. Damon doesn't realize Darcy has escaped, so he decides to go in the room with the alien, hold out the microphone to record it himself. Naturally, the alien kills the idiot, and the alien escapes. A concert is had with android performers. The attendants are in awe as the alien shows up and starts murking all of the android performers. When the alien runs out of androids, it naturally goes after the crowd. They're far less impressed with the concert at that point. MedTech's ragtag team of alien hunters use their fine detective skills to follow the screams and take out the alien in the concert hall. With Damon, the composer of the music, being dead, the CEO can now exploit selling this masterpiece and make all the profits he likes, thus concluding one of the most poignant takes on the music industry and the effects of capitalism that I have ever read. Just brilliant. The sheer amount of drugs I feel would need to be taken to even come up with this plot would have been lethal 2 times over. You ever watch a movie that was just so bad it was good? Well, this book is so bad it's interesting. It's a train wreck you can't wait to get off of. While I am rating the plot a 6 out of 10, it's not because it's a good plot, but rather it's so batshit crazy I can't believe anyone came up with it. It gets some points for originality. That's about it. We'll catch you later.